Hi everyone, welcome to another maths video by Maths with Sarah. So today we're going to be taking a look at this question that comes from a Key Stage 2 SATS paper. So it's probably aimed at those of you who are in Year 5, Year 6, maybe those of you who are in Year 7 or 8 and need a little bit of a reminder of a few topics. As with all these questions, I'd encourage you to maybe pause the video, have a little look, have a little go yourself, see what sort of methods you might want to use, and then check back, and I'm going to go fully through the question and show you some different ways of working out the answer. Again, with a lot of these questions, this one is very true for this one, very true for this question, sorry. There are multiple different ways of getting to the answer. It doesn't mean it's wrong, it just means it's a different method. As long as you get the answer right, it doesn't really matter what method you use. Okay, so let's get started with this question. We have been told that 6 pencils costs £1.68 and 3 pencils and 1 rubber costs £1.09. And we've been asked to work out what's the cost of 1 rubber. Okay, so how are we going to work that one out? Well, we know the cost of 6 pencils, we know the cost of 3 pencils plus a rubber. We've got to somehow work out what just this rubber on its own costs. So what we ideally want to do is to get rid of these 3 pencils. Because if we can work out what the 3 pencils cost and remove that cost, we're going to be left with just the rubber. So the way that I would do this is to start by trying to work out what the cost of 3 pencils is. So we know the cost of 6 pencils is £1.68. Now, how could we work out what the cost of just the 3 pencils is? And the way that I would do this is I would probably just halve it. Let's say, well, 6 pencils equals £1.68, but we only want 3 of them. We only want half that number. So the easiest way to do this would just be to halve £1.68. Now, halving £1.68, I can't do that full question on the top of my head. So I'm going to split it up. I'm going to say, what's half of £1? That would be 50 pence. And then what's half of 68 pence? Well, we can halve the 6, that gives us 3. Half 8, that gives us 4. So half of 68 pence is 34 pence. Now, if we add these two together, they're added together in the original question, we can work out the cost of just the 3 pencils. So if we do 50p plus 34p, we're going to end up with 84p. So we have now worked out the cost of 3 pencils. So just these 3 pencils here, that costs 84p. And as we said, we want to take a look at this one. Essentially, we want to remove the 84p that corresponds to these 3 pencils. So we know that these 3 pencils cost 84p. We know that the total cost of 3 pencils and 1 rubber costs £1.09. So let's do £1.09, subtract the 84p, and that should leave us with the value of the rubber. So the problem with this is that we've got this cost here in pounds and this cost here in pence. So we're going to have to do a little bit of changing up just to turn this number here, or I would suggest that you turn this number here into pennies. It's just going to make it a little bit easier to deal with. So if we've got £1.09, we know that £1 is the same as 100 pennies. So £1.09 would be the same as 109 pence. And then we are going to subtract 84 pence. Now again, there's so many different ways of doing this. The way that I would normally do this is I would say 109 pence, take away 4p is 100 and is equal to 105p. And then if we do 105p, subtract the remaining 80p, then we're going to end up with 25p. Okay, so this is what we're left with. We've removed the cost of the 3 pencils from this set here, so 3 pencils and a rubber. That's going to leave us with just the cost of the 1 rubber, and that is 25p. So multiple steps in this question. I think a lot of these questions do have multiple steps involved, and that's what makes them a little bit more complicated. So that's what takes you from kind of the more straightforward questions where you might have to do one step to these slightly harder, more problem-solving questions where you're given some information, you've then got to work out exactly what steps you need to do with it in order to figure out the answer. So hopefully you've followed all that through. We've gone from the 6 pencils, we've worked out the cost of 3 pencils because that's what we've got in the second set. We can then remove that or subtract that from the total cost, and we're left with just the cost of the rubber, which was what we were looking for. So hopefully you followed all that along. Hopefully you've got the right answer as well at home. And I would really encourage you to subscribe to the channel so that you know about all the videos that are coming out. And lastly, thank you very much for watching.